Welcome back to Quarter Dollar. Today we're diving into a world of small coins with unbelievable stories, the Lincoln Wheat Pennies. These humble little copper coins, often forgotten in jars and drawers, have shocked collectors with values climbing into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, pennies that once bought a stick of gum can now pay for a luxury car, a new house, or even change someone's life. In this video, I'm going to reveal the top 5 most valuable Lincoln Wheat Pennies you could actually come across, and the hidden details that make them worth a fortune. If you love uncovering coin secrets and rare finds, make sure to subscribe here and also check out my second channel, US Mint Mysteries, where we dig even deeper into the stories behind America's rarest coins. Hit that subscribe button on both channels so you don't miss a single discovery. I've dropped the link to US Mint Mysteries in the first comment below. Go check it out. The first coin on our list takes us back to 1944, right in the middle of a fascinating chapter in US history. The world was at war, the economy was strained, and even the smallest coin had an important role in everyday life. This Lincoln Wheat Penny, without a mint mark, was struck in Philadelphia. And at first glance, it might look like just another old copper penny. But don't be fooled. The truth is, some of these 1944 pennies hide a secret that can turn pocket change into a treasure chest. Now, the coin we're looking at here is in circulated condition, showing its age with darker, almost black shades across the surface. Many collectors see that black toning and think it's just dirt or damage. But in reality, it can signal years of natural oxidation and heavy use. While that lowers the value compared to an uncirculated gem, it still holds real collector interest. Why? Because the 1944 pennies were supposed to be made from copper again after the unusual steel cents of 1943. Yet mistakes happened. A few steel planchets from 1943 slipped through the presses, creating one of the most famous errors in American coinage history. If your 1944 penny happens to be one of those rare steel versions, you're talking about a jaw-dropping value, upwards of $450,000 in top condition. That's right, a penny worth nearly $500,000. Even the standard copper 1944 without a mint mark has its story. Circulated examples like this one with heavy toning might bring only a few dollars, maybe $5 to $20 depending on the severity of wear. But step into higher grades and the excitement grows quickly. A clean, lightly circulated example can fetch $50 to $200. And if you happen to find one in uncirculated red condition, you're looking at $5,000 or more. The thrill is that coins like this were once everywhere, sitting in cash registers, handed to kids for candy, lost between couch cushions. Now, each surviving piece is like a time capsule. What makes this penny so valuable isn't just age, but rarity in top condition and the possibility of those shocking minting mistakes. Collectors are always chasing the dream of finding that one steel penny from 1944. Imagine digging through a jar of old change and realizing you're holding a coin that could pay off your mortgage. That's the magic of coin collecting. It's not just copper and metal. It's history, luck, and the chance to uncover something extraordinary. So when you see a 1944 penny, don't ignore it. Even if it's dark, worn, or looks unimpressive, take a closer look. Check if it's magnetic, because if it sticks, you just might have the holy grail of wheat pennies. And even without that steel error, the right condition can still make this little coin shockingly valuable. Next up, we're moving on to another Lincoln Wheat Penny that looks ordinary at first glance, but hides a secret so rare it has stunned collectors at major auctions. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Next up, we're stepping back just 1 year earlier to 1943, and here the story gets even more dramatic. Picture a penny so battered and pitted from age that its mint mark is no longer even visible. At first glance, you might think it's worthless scrap metal, something destined for the junk drawer. But this is no ordinary coin. This is a 1943 Lincoln Wheat Penny, a coin born out of wartime necessity and one of the most famous pieces in U.S. coin history. In 1943, copper was desperately needed for ammunition and military supplies during World War II. To save copper, the U.S. Mint struck pennies from zinc-coated steel. That's right, for 1 year only, our beloved penny looked and felt completely different. Instead of that warm copper glow, these coins had a silvery shine that often confused people with dimes. And here's where the story takes a shocking twist. A few 1943 pennies were mistakenly struck in copper, using leftover planchets from 1942. Those accidents created some of the rarest and most sought-after coins in existence. A genuine 1943 copper penny has sold for more than $400,000, with pristine examples crossing the $500,000 mark. Now, the coin we're talking about here is in extremely rough shape. The surface is pitted, dark, and the mint mark is worn away completely. Many collectors would toss it aside, thinking it's too far gone to matter. But here's the thing. Even a bad condition 1943 penny has a story worth paying attention to. Steel cents from that year are still collectible, and depending on the exact condition, even a heavily worn example might bring $5 to $15. If it happens to be a rarer mint location, say Denver or San Francisco, even poor examples can climb higher. But here's the real jaw-dropper. If by some miracle this corroded little coin turned out to be a copper 1943 instead of steel, even in rough condition, it could still bring tens of thousands of dollars. Yes, even a beat-up copper 1943 penny could buy you a brand new car. What makes this penny so fascinating is how deceptive it can be. With all that corrosion and pitting, you might not notice the difference between steel and copper at first glance. But with a simple test, a magnet, you can unlock its secret. Steel pennies will stick to a magnet, while copper pennies won't. That's the kind of small discovery that can completely change the fate of a coin and shock anyone lucky enough to find one. So while this coin may look like it's been through a war itself, don't dismiss it. Every scratch and pit is part of its journey through history. From the pocket of a soldier's mother sending letters at home to the hands of a child buying candy in the 1940s, this coin has lived a life. And today, it stands as a reminder that even the ugliest, most worn-down coins can hide the biggest surprises. If you're enjoying this deep dive into hidden treasures, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join our community of collectors. And remember, I've dropped the link to my second channel, US Mint Mysteries, in the first comment below, where we explore even more rare coins and untold stories. Go check it out after this video. You'll love it. Now let's keep the excitement rolling, because our next Lincoln Wheat Penny looks innocent enough, but under the right circumstances, it has sold for a price so high, it leaves even lifelong collectors in disbelief. Moving on, we land in the year 1946, right after World War II. America was rebuilding, soldiers were coming home, and pennies were back in copper full-time after that one strange year of steel. The 1946 Lincoln Wheat Penny, struck in Denver, may look humble today, but it carries a story every collector should know. Now, the coin we're looking at is in very poor shape. It's extremely worn out. The details on Lincoln's face are faint, and the wheat stalks on the reverse are barely visible. This is the kind of coin most people would toss into a coffee can or cash in at the bank without thinking twice. But here's where the shock comes in, because even a coin in this bad of condition can surprise you. You see, The 1946D had a massive mintage, over 315 million pieces, which means most examples are common. In average circulated shape like this, the value might be little more than 5 to 20 cents. Maybe $1 if someone just wants a filler coin for their album. And here's where it gets exciting. Mistakes happened at the Denver Mint in 1946. Some coins were struck with doubled dies, especially noticeable in the date and lettering. Others show repunched mint marks, where the D was stamped more than once, creating a shadow-like effect. These little details, often overlooked on worn-out coins, can transform an ordinary penny into a collectible, worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Now, imagine this. Even in rough shape, if you had a 1946D double-die obverse penny, it could still bring in $2,000 to $5,000 at auction. And in higher uncirculated grades, those same errors can climb to $15,000 or more. And for the true top-tier examples, values can stretch into six figures. That's right. A penny that looks like pocket change could be worth enough to cover a dream vacation or even a down payment on a house. What makes the 1946D so thrilling is the chase. Collectors know that most of them are worth pocket change, but they search anyway, hoping to catch that one lucky error. And that's why even the ugliest, most worn-down example should never be ignored. Because sometimes it's not about the condition, it's about the details hiding underneath. Think about it. This coin might have been passed hand to hand at a gas station in Denver, or jingled in the pocket of a returning soldier buying his first meal back home. The wear tells a story, but it doesn't erase the possibility of hidden rarity. Even if 99 out of 100 coins are common, that one special error changes everything. So don't underestimate the 1946D wheat penny. Even in bad condition, it has the potential to shock you. Check the date, look closely at the mint mark, and always remember, history and value can live inside even the most beat-up coins. Next up, we've got another Lincoln Wheat Penny that seems unremarkable at first. But collectors have seen its value soar so high in rare cases that it leaves jaws dropping every single time. Next up, we arrive at 1955, a year that every coin collector instantly recognizes. But while most people think of the famous 1955 double-die penny from Philadelphia, the 1955D wheat penny from Denver has its own place in the spotlight, and it's a coin that can surprise even in terrible shape. The example we're looking at here is extremely worn out. The date is faint, Lincoln's face is smooth from decades of circulation, and the reverse wheat stalks are almost flat against the surface. At first glance, it looks like the kind of penny that might have rolled around on the floor of a gas station for 50 years. In this kind of condition, most collectors would only pay a few cents, maybe 10 or 20 cents, if someone wants to fill a spot in their collection. But here's where the story gets interesting, because the 1955D isn't about ordinary coins. It's about the extraordinary errors that slipped out of the Denver Mint that year. Unlike the famous Philadelphia double die, which shows dramatic doubling across the entire date and lettering, the Denver Mint produced a number of subtle but valuable errors. Some 1955Ds feature repunched mint marks, where the D was struck more than once, leaving a shadowy, overlapping look. Others have die breaks and cracks, sometimes called cuds, where parts of the design appear broken or missing. These varieties may look like small details, but in the world of coin collecting, they can mean huge differences in value. Imagine holding one of these errors, even in a rough state. A heavily worn 1955D with a repunched mint mark can still fetch $50 to $100. If it's a more dramatic variety, even in poor condition, values can leap into the hundreds. And here's the shocker. If you happen to come across a rare die variety in higher mint state grades, the price tag can climb into the tens of thousands. Some top-quality 1955D error pennies have stunned collectors by hitting ? Values north of $50,000. Yes, a tiny copper coin worth more than a luxury car. Now think about this for a moment. This beat-up coin in my hand, rubbed nearly smooth by millions of transactions, could still hide those secrets. It may have been carried in the pocket of a factory worker, dropped in a jukebox at a diner, or used by a kid in 1955 to buy a soda. All those years of life are etched into its surface. But the details that remain, the mint mark, the date, the faint lines, still hold the possibility of unlocking a treasure. And that's the thrill, isn't it? The idea that a coin that looks worthless could actually be a collector's prize. That's why serious collectors never overlook even the ugliest pennies. They know that value isn't always about beauty, it's about rarity, mistakes, and the stories a coin carries with it. So, while the 1955 D wheat penny in this rough shape might look like a throwaway, it teaches us something important. Always look closer, because history has a of hiding in plain sight, and sometimes that tiny detail is worth more than you could ever imagine. Now, get ready, because our final coin in this countdown is one that has shocked collectors over and over again, with values soaring into the six figures. You won't believe how much a simple wheat penny can sell for when the stars align. And finally, we come to the last coin in our countdown, the 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny without a mint mark. At first glance, this example looks rough. Its surfaces are dark with black shades. The copper has taken on a heavy patina, and years of wear have left it pitted and rusted in spots. To the untrained eye, it might look like something you'd sweep off the floor of a garage. But as we've seen time and time again, appearances can be deceiving. By 1957, the Lincoln Wheat Penny had been in circulation for nearly half a century. The Philadelphia Mint struck more than 280 million of these coins, so in ordinary worn condition, they're still considered common. A coin like this, in the condition we see here, might only be worth a few cents above face value, maybe $1 to a beginner collector who just wants the date. But the story doesn't end there, because within the sea of 1957 pennies, rare varieties and errors can turn an ugly, forgotten coin into. Some of the most famous errors from 1957 include doubled dies, especially in the lettering of Liberty and In God We Trust. There are also repunched mint marks on Denver issues, though this Philadelphia piece lacks one. And then there are die breaks and retained cuds where parts of the coin look broken, filled, or distorted. These small details, invisible at first glance, can transform value. Even a damaged-looking coin with the right double die can bring in $200 to $500. In better condition, that same variety can soar into the thousands. And here's the real jaw-dropper. High-grade examples of 1957 wheat pennies without mint marks, especially those with brilliant red surfaces, have sold for staggering prices. A pristine uncirculated red example has crossed $25,000 at auction. That's right. A coin most people would ignore in their change jar can sell for more than a brand new car. And the rarest errors? Some have pushed values into six figures, shocking even the most experienced. Collectors. Now imagine holding this dark rusted coin in your hand. It might look lifeless, but beneath the patina is a story stretching back nearly 70 years. This penny could have passed through thousands of hands, bought countless little items in the 1950s and 1960s, survived decades in a jar, and still today carries the possibility of surprising value. That's the magic of these wheat pennies. They remind us never to judge a coin by its surface. The true worth lies in the details, those tiny mistakes, rare survivals, and the thrill of discovery. So whether it's a 1944 copper, a 1943 steel error, a 1946D with doubled dies, a 1955D with repunched mint marks, or this worn-down 1957 with its dark patina, every Lincoln Wheat penny has a story worth uncovering. And sometimes that story is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's the end of our countdown of the top 5 valuable Lincoln Wheat pennies. Which one shocked you the most? Was it the $500,000 1943 copper? Or the idea that even a beat-up 1957 could be hiding a rare double die worth thousands? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your stories of what you found in your change. And remember, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button here on Quarter Dollar and check out my second channel, US Mint Mysteries, where we go even deeper into rare coins and untold minting secrets. The link is waiting in the first comment below. Thanks for joining me on this journey through history, luck, and hidden treasures. Keep your eyes open, keep searching, and who knows, you just might be the next person to find a penny worth a fortune.